if there's one thing you can depend on, it's timely episodes of Joint Operations every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. Well, it was every week, but
I took his joke.
It was weekly.
Brady was sound checking like a dog for like 20 minutes just now.
It worked pretty well. It got good levels. Welcome to Joint Operations, a podcast about being a twin.
This is your host, Adam Sadler.
About interrupting each other. This is Brady J. Sadler, and we're checking in about 2 months after our last episode because things got a little wild. I think last time we talked about, if it was like in April, I was still kind of recovering from my broken fibula and my 7 weeks on the couch. So yeah, now I'm back on my feet. I'm very.
And we've only played 2 pickleball games.
Three. It was three.
We've
played 3 pickleball matches.
Today's the perfect weather for it.
No, it's
90 some degrees outside.
It is thick as can be. I mowed the lawn mistakenly. But yeah, we're back at it again with a new episode. This is episode 17. The title of this episode is going to be Avian Rain, which is like birds falling from the sky, I think. I don't know. Or like
not chocolate rain.
Yeah,
Avian Rain.
Avian as in a bird.
Man, how old was that thing?
I don't remember. I vaguely remember it, so it must have been like the early 2000s or something. But anyway, the reason we're calling this Avian Rain is nonsensical because we have a book coming out.
It has literally nothing to do. Like at least the Jake and Gouda thing was relevant because we're at Starbucks.
I know, but this is like a follow up because like there has to be some like connection.
And that's a callback, right?
It's sort of a callback, but
no, that's from Always Sunny.
That's what we talk about the vibe. So we're going to be releasing a book in August 26th is the release date. It's called Ransom Creek Ruins. Sorry,
Ransom Creek Remains.
That's the sequel. Yeah, it's called Ransom Creek Remains. It's a buddy cop thriller, supernatural buddy cop thriller, and the lead detectives in this story are detectives Don Ave, and Eddie Rain, Edward Genavius Rain. Avery and Rain sounded like Avian Rain, so that's the name of it. That's where it's all comes together. See, the backstory explains.
Yeah,
everything.
And if you like Tango and Cash or Lethal Weapon, you might like this book.
Yeah,
True Detective season 1 maybe. I think
it's like the way if I had to give the elevator pitch to the story, it's like, well, we were watching season 1 of True Detective on repeat a few times. And I got to think, I'm like, man, what if this like instead was at Tango and Cash and they were in the Gilmore Girls town of Star Hollow and we threw in a little bit of like Twin Peaks action and see what we get. And that's kind of what the story became. So I'm still finishing the draft of it. It's going to go through editing next month, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's pretty cool. It's we'll see what you guys think.
We'll see if Brady putting my name on a book affects his notoriety at all.
Yeah, I'd like everybody to not buy copies and not review this because if it explodes and becomes a national sensation, it's all that means is like, oh, I guess I couldn't do it enough by myself. So
it's a gimmick, man. You gotta I think we made a name for ourselves in the board game world because it's kind of interesting. Twin brothers designing games together. That's cool. Let's check it out. Oh, their games are mediocre. Let's buy the next one.
I think it's because they were under the assumption that if they bought enough copies of our games, I would probably be doing like more twerking on my TikToks or something, and that's what they wanted to see.
I don't think you were on TikTok back then.
Yeah, it's new. I'm behind on it. It's not new. Me being on there is new, but it's not. Anyway, so lately, yeah, it's been a while since we were checking in. Besides our book coming out, I've released another book. I don't know if we did a podcast. We haven't even done an episode with Harmony of Hexes dropping. So
I thought we did.
April 22nd was the last one, and Harmony of Hexes came out on our birthday, May 29th. So
May was a strange month.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what happened recently. May 29th, my second Relic Myers book, which is my 7th book in total, released to some acclaim. It wasn't a huge release, but sequel.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
It's got good reviews. I just haven't haven't been like blowing my skirt up sales wise. But I had a signing yesterday at Barnes & Noble here in I was going to say I misspoke. But no, it is Barnes & Noble here in Noblesville. I had a little book signing. It was
Barnes & Noblesville.
And I'll have another one in July in Lafayette and in Carmel. So 2 in July. So yeah, come hang out if you're in Indiana and want to hang out at Barnes & Noble. And then Adam's been learning how to make video games.
Yeah, I've actually been spending ever since I got my new job back in March. And it's strange because I went from working as an engineer to a software product manager. So it's a little different mindset. But I couldn't shake that feeling of like the urge to build something. So I was debating in my free time if I wanted to make a new app or something. But what really spoke to me was before I became a software engineer, I started fiddling around in Unity and then a little bit later in Unreal Engine. But when I got a job, I kind of got distracted and never went back to it. But I always found it interesting. Like, I love video games. I've been a video game advocate, or I'm an avid video gamer since I was like 6 years old or something. So I've always had an interest in it. But I never really got into making video games professionally. But I wanted to utilize some of my time after work and weekends and stuff like that to learn a new skill. And so I kind of dove in pretty deep with Unreal Engine 5. And so I've been learning that, did a few Udemy courses. I actually went through them fairly quickly. And then I just jumped into working on my own stuff. And I've been doing that it's been keeping me pretty busy. It's kind of one of the reasons why we haven't recorded in a while, because of just all my free time has been, spent just diving in deep into video game development. And it's been really fun. I'm actually pretty motivated to do an actual full game, using a lot of free assets, of course, because I can't do everything myself. Video games take a lot of assets, a lot of 3D models and sound effects and animations. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Ray doesn't want to do it. I don't want to. He wants to just write books all the time.
The limited experience I have in Unreal has been very enjoyable. It's like if you like creating characters in games, it's like nothing like that. There's nothing like that at all.
I actually really enjoy obviously the programming side of things. I was learning C++. I did a whole course on C++, and so I got a pretty good grasp of using C++ with Unreal. But then I started wanting to learn more about blueprints. I touched on blueprints a little bit in the C++ course, but blueprints are basically like a visual scripting tool that uses an Unreal, where you can program with a visual blueprint graph, so you don't actually have to write code. The reason I like it is because you don't have to work in a separate IDE, so you don't have to compile live code constantly during development. You can just do everything within the editor itself, and it just focus on the game. So that's really fun, and so I've been really enjoying blueprints.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if eventually you get to a point where a lot of our board game ideas could just be digital games. And then we could design games and they could either be video games or board games or both, because as much as I love board games, and I think we still have ideas for board games, part of me thinks we'd be more, motivated to design these video games, and if we port them to the tabletop, great, or somebody else can port them, I don't care. But I think the reason we got into game design was just to create settings, create IPs, and play games, and we can do that either digitally or on the tabletop. So I'm excited to try our hand at it if we get further along into it. I just need to finish up this dang book before I tinker around with Unreal again. But all this aside, none of this is important. Writing novels is stupid. It's just a time killer, because what it really leads up to is the fact that Games Workshop finally put out a box with some real joint operations in it.
Boy, this is a hot topic for me.
This is gonna be hot. How do you feel about Games Workshop? What are your feelings?
I've been a fan of Warhammer since I was 15 years old, I think it was. And I've been rabid fan. I've loved Warhammer. But man, this last couple weeks have pushed me to my breaking point when it comes to Games Workshop's business practices. For those who don't know, if you're not familiar with Games Workshop products, especially nowadays, they treat everything like a limited release. So they have a cool new starter box that comes out, and they just do one big print run, and then when it's gone, it's gone. And then sometimes they'll break those models up and sell them individually in different ways or whatever. But for Kill Team, this new box was announced back in November or something. We've talked about it on this podcast, but it was Kill Team Typhon.
I don't think it was November though. It had to be this year.
Maybe it was earlier this year. I'm not sure, but it was Adeptus Mechanicus Kill Team versus a Tyranid Kill Team, and they're new Tyranid models, which obviously Warhammer 40k veterans are all excited about, because new models for 40k are always exciting. So they're really good new Tyranid models. But the box itself includes joint operation specific content, like a little mini campaign that's designed for co-op play, where
a narrative campaign.
Yeah, where you're fighting against Tyranids, which are honestly the perfect enemy to fight against. Like, and one of the things I've always said to Brady when joint operations first came out was they had these really, I think we talked about on this podcast, they have these very generic NPO profiles where it's like, this is a gunner, this is a melee guy, and they're just, you can use any models for it. But this is specific NPO cards for the models, so the Tyranid specific NPO cards, and that's awesome. That's what I want. I want more NPO models or NPO cards for models we can use in the game. Anyway, came out, super excited about it. I always put my an event in my calendar for Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern when pre-orders go up for Warhammer products, because I like to order from Warhammer's website, because that always ensures that I get a copy of it. Sometimes I've had issues in retail where I go to pre-order and they didn't get enough copies or something, so I don't want to risk it. I just go pre-order at the Games Workshop website, even if it costs more money, I don't care. So that's what I do. I'm usually there, no problem. Sometimes I've had issues where like there'd be traffic or something, I'd be like in a queue. But this time, unfortunately, I was working in Unreal and I didn't have an alarm set. It was just on my calendar, and I wasn't even looking at my watch because I was just so into what I was doing in Unreal. And I get a text from Brady saying, "Hey, are you ordering this?" And I was like, "Oh crap!" It was like 4 minutes after noon.
And I had Typhon in my box just because I was like, I'll put it in my box just in case, or my basket.
Right when he texted me, I immediately went over to the website and I went in there and it was there. I put it in my cart and I put in the Sanctifiers box. I wanted to get extra of those, and I hit checkout, and then it said, "Oops, there's stock item. There was a stock issue with your order," and then Typhon was sold out. So by a few minutes, I missed it, and then Brady didn't check out either because he was waiting for me like an idiot. Like, why?
I don't want to spend the money. I will say, leading up to this, it's kind of a funny story. There's a little backstory to this as well, because as excited as I am for doing operations, I don't paint a lot, and I have a lot of backlog of minis and some terrain for Kill Team. So I have usually you're the one that has all this GW stuff. I have almost every Kill Team that's been released so far. I don't know why. I just bought them all, and I have all these unpainted models for almost every Kill Team. And they're
going to come in handy someday.
I probably will, unless they do joint operations for everything, joint NPO packs for everything. I probably won't paint these. So anyway, I didn't think I was going to buy another box because I already have a bunch of stuff I haven't painted, and you were getting it anyway. I just want to play through that content. So, and also, I've been spending a lot of money on book stuff, like marketing costs. I've been spending way too much on marketing and art for books this year, because I got 5 or 6 books coming out this year. I've already released 3 more coming before the end of the year. So yeah, a lot of expenses. So I was like, I'm gonna be a little more careful with my money. So maybe I won't buy this box. But then the week before, I just signed on for another game project that I'm getting a pretty hefty paycheck for. So it shouldn't have been an issue. I could have easily just checked out, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time because I haven't actually signed the contract yet. So I didn't. I was being a little cautious
and stupid,
why I didn't order
and
it.
Stupid.
But I was going to do it anyway. Well, the funniest part about this is me hesitating buying it is you found it on eBay last week or this weekend.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
We're still in the midst.
We're in the whole Let's
go to Act 2 of this tale. You go start Act 2.
You're really bad at getting ahead of stories.
I don't tell stories.
You should try writing a book every now and then and figure out how to tell a story. So anyway, Brady did not check out, so he lost his copy as well. So here we are, just no copies. So Brady decides to call the local game store. All their copies are spoken for, which is strange. As well.
They said that week too. They haven't gotten any of their pre-orders for Kill Team taken up, and up until that week, I think that Friday before the pre-orders, none of their boxes of Typhon were spoken for. It was all the last minute ones.
Yeah, everybody wanted this the last minute. I don't understand I don't know if it's because it was joint operation or if people are just that excited about Adeptus Mechanicus or the Kill Team. I know that both of those
be a combo.
I know both those armies are due for some new models in 40K. So Kill Team is always a way for 40K players to get cool, unique models because the Kill Team models are awesome. They're very characterful. They're not just standard troops or whatever. They're all have their own identity and their own.
Is characterful a word? Full of character?
Characterful. Yeah, I've heard it been used before.
It sounds awkward, but
but anyway, we didn't have any options to get it. So I started looking around online to see if I could find anybody that would have it. A lot of these stores, the way I guess I've learned talking to some retailers about how they operate with Games Workshop is that when the game is announced, the Sunday before pre-orders, So like the Sunday before the pre-orders came up, they say, hey, this is what's coming up this week. And then by Tuesday, they need retailers to lock in their orders. But a lot of times retailers don't have orders because people don't know about it yet. People don't always watch Games Workshop's website. So by the time Saturday comes around with pre-orders, it's too late because their orders were already due. And so and sometimes they're short copies because Games Workshop says, hey, we're going to send you 6. But then when the pre-order shipment comes around, it's like, oh, we can only send you 4. So it happens often, which is annoying. But anyway, cut ahead a few days later, and having no luck finding a copy, I resort to looking on eBay, and there's people who scalp. Obviously, they
inflate their prices,
and there could be people who run retail stores or whatever, but they secure pre-order copies and they sell it for like $50 more or something.
And after this whole this whole,
you getting ahead of me again?
No, I'm just saying after all this like stuff we've been going through, I don't blame these people for inflating the prices. Like these retailers, like it's like the way GW treats this whole process. It's like I think I would do the same thing almost because it's like so difficult, you know.
Yeah, and it sucks because it makes me feel like I shouldn't be. I mean, the way Games Workshop sees it is they make a product and they print as many copies as they want, and if they sell out, that's a victory for them. They don't care if people who want the product can't find it because they sold out of product. They don't have to worry about their warehouse shelves being taken up by unsold product. That's a victory for a company. And they keep doing that. And it sucks because they make games that people want and they can't get them because they print enough to sell and then they don't print them again. And they move on to the next thing. And I'm getting a little sick of that because they make some good games that they don't support because they always, every 3 years, they do a new edition or something. So like this Kill Team edition is probably going to be like a couple years. So they do a new edition. So it's going to be a whole cycle. And I always fall into this. So I can complain about it, but I still buy the product because I like Warhammer.
Especially if they do more. And like you said, it could be because of Tyranids, it could be because of the Mechanicus, but like if they view this as like, oh, we need more joint operations, because I think it's a mixture. I think it's a combination of all these things. So if they do, to me, like business wise, it seems dumb not to double up printed content for the miniatures because they already have these kill teams. They can make NPO cards for all these models.
I mean, they might be planning it, but the thing is also, it's like as a business, they never have a problem selling stuff, man. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter what they do, they just sell it. So I don't think they care about what works. It's like, oh, it's going to sell anyway. So maybe people are super excited about joint operations, and that's why it sells. But maybe Games Workshop won't even realize that. They just know that they sold out, and let's do more Kill Team. Let's do another special edition box that we're only print one copy of, do one print run of. But anyway, tangent. I knew this was going to be like a really hot episode.
Coming out hot.
So after a few days of no luck finding any copies with any retailers, I resort to eBay. And I found a copy in the US that was like, so this game retailed at $170 or something.
Yeah, but with the shipping's
free. Games Workshop's free shipping. So as long as it's over $60.
So there was tax.
There was lots of copies in the UK because that's where Games Workshop's based. So it's probably like, I don't know if people that know people that have copies or whatever. But I found a couple copies in the US. One of them, the cheapest one I found was like $250. So it's like already $70 more or $80 more than retail. And I was like, so not going to do that. I was like, I don't know if I want to pay this much more out of a game that I just can't find out of frustration. And it's not even out yet. So maybe when it releases on Saturday, there might be more copies than they thought. And maybe we'll be... But
What's even funnier is like I could have listened to advice because we're on that Facebook group, the Kill Team Facebook group. A lot of people are complaining about this on there, and I was in the comments just kind of like voicing my frustration. But somebody made a good point because I was saying how like mostly I just want the printed material, which is not necessarily true because like you're getting the specific NPO cards. I kind of want the models to go with them, you know.
Yep.
But I guarantee.
Well, the models will be available. I know that.
That's what I'm saying. I would guarantee there's going to be people selling prorated, you know. They'll sell the printed stuff online because they just want the models out of that box. And
the 40K players will definitely do that. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I want the box. I want the product. Like, I want that on my shelf. That this is a joint ops focused Kill Team box. This is what I've been waiting for the game. So I want it. So myself, I'm like, I sold a couple games recently just to cover my costs. But I went ahead and I was watching that eBay, and the guy had 4 copies. 2 of them were sold. And I was like watching it the next day. I was like, I'll wait till tomorrow to decide if I'm going to buy this or not. I waited till the next morning, and then he sold another one, so there was 1 left. I was like, oh, I'm going to regret it if I don't. So I just went ahead and bought it. And then like 20 minutes later, I get an email from eBay saying my order was refunded, and I reached out to the seller. I'm like, hey, what's up? I still want this. And he said, Games Workshop shorted me a copy. I'm sorry. This has never happened before. I'm like, oh. So after that happened, I was like, I don't know. I'm so mad that the next one I see, and I saw one the same price later that day, and I went ahead and I bought it. I was like, I don't care. I'm overpaying for this. I don't care. I just want to make sure I get it. So I went ahead and did that. And then I don't know if it was later that day or the next day.
It was the same day.
I sent Brady a link to another copy I saw pop up that was even cheaper, like $230 or something. And Brady's like, oh, screw it, I'll buy that. So Brady
I was in the same boat where I just got to the point where I was frustrated, kind of just watching all this, and I was like, because I regretted not just purchasing it when I had it in my cart. So it's kind of funny how, as a consumer, you can be so driven by annoyance, FOMO, fear of missing out. Even though I wanted the product anyway, so it's not like I'm buying it for no reason, but it's just I'm more motivated to buy it just out of frustration that I might not get it.
Yeah, with the game that I sold or whatever, I didn't lose money really. Well, I did. I played the game that I sold.
We all lose money,
but I'm not mad that I spent that money. Some people were like, you shouldn't, support scalpers or whatever. People that do that. I'm like, well, if I want the product, I'm gonna have to find a way to get the product, and if I can't buy it in the store,
and they are scalpers, but they're not ridiculous, because the people could put that up for $500 or something.
Well, there were a lot. There were lots that were over $300, and I'm like, that's too much. Yeah. But
there's some people inflate it, but it's I don't mind paying this person $40-$50 because they dealt with all the crap that I would have to deal with anyway. So,
was your computer notification on?
Was that loud? Did you hear that?
I heard it. My hearing.
Hopefully, I can edit it out if it comes up on the internal system here. But yeah, that's aside the point though. We'll have this box finally later this week maybe, but or this coming week. But maybe we can actually do some segments and recap some of these these battles, and hey, this podcast is called Joint Operations. We actually have some joint operations to play through. So
yeah, it sucked because with Kill Team, every time we play it, whenever we get a chance to play it, we're always playing head to head because there's not specific missions. We designed one and we could do more of that, but we really wanted to have product design for Joint Ops to play through. And this is exactly what we wanted. So this is I think it's a 3-mission campaign. It's got branches, so it can have different.
It's got 3 steps, but yeah, I think they can be different missions in those steps.
Yeah, I think there's a total of 8 missions, but you play 3 of them for a campaign. And it's fun. I don't need a big, massive campaign, but it's cool to play missions that are thematically driven or narratively driven.
I just want to push my rattlings around the table. So
yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting it, but I'm still I'm getting a little tired of how Games Workshop does this with their products. I wish they would it's same. I feel the same way. I went on a whole rant about this with the cards. How they do these card packs. They're just a one-time thing. They'll sell the miniatures. The miniatures are going to be in stock, but the cards are one time only. Why not? Why aren't they together? If you have a kill team, you should sell the cards to play the kill team as long as you're selling the miniatures. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it also seems weird to me that they haven't, because of who they are. This should be easy for them to partner up with a print-on-demand facility that just does their printed materials, because they could keep that stuff in stock and just keep selling it.
I honestly do not need the cards to be as nice as they are. I do like them, but even if they were a cheaper quality, I'd be fine, because if it's better than me printing them off myself on printer paper.
Yeah. It's an exciting product, but it's been a frustrating experience trying to get it. So hopefully it comes in okay, and then it'll all be behind us. But
yeah, I don't know if anybody listens to this podcast at all, but if you do, or if you're on, if you're on our Discord and you are a fan of Kill Team, did you try to get the copy of this game? Did you know anybody did? Because I'm curious if anybody was able to get a copy easily.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know if anybody's heard, even if they don't play Kill Team and they know miniatures games, they might have heard frustrations about this or talk about it, because I was at Origins this past week helping out Inside Up Games with my daughter, and we were roaming around trying to find any retailers that might have had copies, because a lot of times at these conventions you'll have retailers set up booths and they'll just sell random stuff. But I didn't see anybody selling the Games Workshop stuff, so I couldn't find it there either. It was really frustrating. But that is actually a segue. I don't know if any other Kill Team talk on this topic, because I was going to talk about other games played.
I think that was all for Kill Team. I think there was going to be something else I was going to mention about. I was going to mention that I was curious how other people had issues finding this game, because anything I've seen online, everybody said that they were there immediately and they sold out within seconds. And I just find that really crazy because, like I said, I watch Games Workshop pre-orders all the time. And even when Old World came out, that thing sold a lot apparently, but we had no problem getting that stuff. Yeah. Like, we were there day one, and there was a huge queue. Oh, speaking of Warhammer, I need to go and pre-order that Warhammer The Old World RPG.
Yeah, I just pre-ordered that last night. I was laying in bed like at 2 a.m. or whatever it was whenever I texted you saying, like, screw it, I'm going to order that.
Do you want to transition to that, or do you want to do something else?
That's fine.
I was going to mention that.
Old World, yeah, go for it.
If you are a fan of role-playing games and you're a fan of Warhammer, Cubicle 7 has announced many months ago, back when Warhammer The Old World was launched by Games Workshop. I think it was maybe a year or two, almost a year and a half ago, I think.
They announced launch? I could have sworn that was in the fall last year.
Well, last year.
Oh, the announcement, you mean?
It was released the end of 2023.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because all of 2024 they released all the armies.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then they just released Cathay, or like they're about to release Cathay. So they're doing new stuff now. But anyway, back when it first was announced, Cubicle 7 announced, hey, we're doing an Old World RPG, but we don't have much to talk about yet. So most of last year there was not much to talk about, but this year they've been dropping more blogs about it. And like last week or 2 weeks ago, they just announced the pre-order bundles, and they have a lot of products for the game. They have Warhammer the Fantasy Roleplay, which is an old, very popular Warhammer themed role-playing game from like the 80s, I think, when it first came out.
Is it the 4th edition now, or is it 5th? I always forget what
it's the 5th, because FFG did the 4th edition.
4th, okay.
So it's the 5th edition now, and it's a very crunchy D100 based percentile based system. Very crunchy. It's a cool, very dark themed game. We enjoyed it. It actually has one of the most popular modules ever done for any role-playing game, called the Enemy Within campaign, and it's like this huge 6-book adventure. I have all of them. I think we played through the first book when we played the game.
I thought we got into book 2.
I think we started. I'm not sure. I think I was planning book 2, but it's a very crunchy game. And this new Warhammer The Old World, it's in the same setting, but it's much more
heroic.
Yeah, it's also designed to be more approachable, like easier to learn. It's a D10 system. And overall, I'm just very excited about it.
Well, it is kind of more heroic because, like, they still call them careers, or they call them classes?
I think they're careers still.
Yeah, the careers are more like adventure based as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm a rat
saw a rat catcher though, didn't I?
They got to have the iconic ones in there, but like before it was like, oh, you're.
I honestly think it's representing the same kind of gameplay, but I think that it's just the rules are lighter and easier to play, and it's also a different time period. It's like early Empire, before it's like where the Empire was in the Civil War, and the elves were like still around. Bretonia was like in power more. Like it's basically where the Old World and the Warhammer The Old World product the Games Workshop is doing. It's in that time period, so it's like early days in the fantasy setting before chaos and the end days.
It's a good bundle.
Or the end time, sorry.
It was a very enticing bundle. That's why I backed it, or that's why I did the pre-order.
One thing that excites me about it is they are embracing cards, which I like. They have like spell cards and prayer cards, and then adversary cards, which monster reference cards, and RPG are awesome. I love those.
I really am assuming and hoping that Daggerheart does adversary cards, because they have their core game cards are all player focused, obviously, but if they do like some GM cards, that system will be so, like, it's already pretty appealing. I bought 2 copies of Daggerheart because I thought my daughter might want to play it. She's been talking about playing D&D for years now, so I had to pick up Daggerheart as well. I'm still obviously super excited about the Old World RPG. I picked that up as on pre-order, but I still want to get at least one, like even if it's a one shot, I want to try playing Daggerheart, because it's a very cool system, and it's very beautiful. That book is gorgeous.
I don't like how they don't have a clear class. They named it Seraph. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about some of the naming conventions, and I don't know if I love the domain aspects, because they're all like 2 domains put together to make the classes. But
make a big old wheel of domain classes.
It's very symmetrical though. It's very very unique rules.
There was news that the guys, I think it was Chris and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name. The guys who basically ran D&D for the last few years in the 5th edition, they both left Wizards recently, and I know everybody's wondering why. And it was just announced a few weeks ago that they joined Darrington Press, which is the company that does Daggerheart. So Daggerheart's probably got some interesting things in the future going on.
Hope so, yeah.
Chris Perkins, and I'm trying to blank on that guy's name, but
someone Google that. Put it on our Discord.
I'm gonna feel bad. Sorry, got your. I didn't do my research
D&D
there.
Person. The other game I want to talk about, like, since it's not really tabletop role playing, but still tabletop, is when my daughter Riley and I were in Origins. We were
Jeremy Crawford.
I wouldn't have known that. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for listening. We were helping out Inside Up Games. They do a lot of big games like Perch, and one of their new ones is their Draft and Write Records, which is like a drafting, and it's like a roll and write, but with drafting cards. It's like a music-themed game. So we had to demo that for them. It's a pretty fun game. Recommend that one. It's a good price point. But I randomly came across a table that was demoing this game called Sail, and it's a pirate-themed co-op 2-player trick-taking game. And I've seen several of these co-op trick-taking games pop up. Like the one probably most notable right now is that Lord of the Rings one that Brian Bourne-Mueller designed with, he had a co-designer that I'm drawing a blank on as well. Bad with names right now. Came from Office Dog Games, but that's a really cool little co-op trick-taker. But a 2-player one was pretty appealing because I like lower player counts, and I was there with my daughter, so we picked it up, and she said, I love pirates. I hate pirates. I hate the pirate theme, but I got it anyway. Very, very cool little game, especially if you like trick-taking games and you like co-ops and you like low player counts. It's like a perfect game. Does all those things very well. I've been playing that. Beat the first 2 scenarios with her. It's a very hard game to get the hang of, but it's very minimalist. It's super cool. So that's what I've been playing, and that's pretty much the only thing I've been playing because I've been waiting for all my other games to come in from crowdfunding. Lands of Evershade. Come on. That's like next year probably, but
it did get delayed, right? It
got delayed some months, but they didn't say if it spills over to next year.
I thought they said they wouldn't be making it this year.
No, it could be. But the way things are going, I wouldn't doubt it. So
I'm honestly fine. I'm not in a big rush.
I got plenty to keep me busy.
I'm very excited for it, but I'm not like, I have to have this now.
It's just, I have to have like a big boxed board game that I'm excited about. Otherwise, it
would be nice for our game night. Like we have a standing game night where it happens. I think it's down to like maybe every other week now, just depending on people's schedules. But the last time we got together, we were playing Iridia, but I kind of wanted to play something else because we've been playing Iridia for so many weeks in a row, and we've already done a whole campaign.
Yeah, it is one of those games. I almost hate to admit it because I love the game so much, but it is one of those games where when you've played the story, it's a little less exciting to keep playing through it again. I mean, it's still fun.
I mean, I think that's obvious to anybody.
Like, but I didn't want to admit it because I thought it did it very well, but it still doesn't really feel like you want to go through it again.
It's a game where it's still a game I would always recommend, but I'm like, I want to play some other stuff because when you're playing a campaign game, you're locked in. Now, that game is still like the only campaign game we've ever played all the way through, so that alone deserves. Oh, actually, I guess Pandemic Legacy can kind of count for that, but that's a quick one. But anyway, we were playing Iridia for a bit because I just wanted to show these guys the game. But we took a break and we played some Marvel United last time, and I just said, let's play one little game so you can get a feel for it. We ended up playing like 5 games in a row because they just kept wanting to play.
I was almost at the point where it's like, nah, come on, we're done.
Well, I mean, I was fine. I didn't want to play anything else at the time, so I was like, we might as well just keep
I still haven't gotten to play much Aberration, and I've been.
You didn't bring that up. You didn't bring that with you.
I love it. I love Aberration. It's a super cool game. I also got the Leviathan Wilds that Justin Kempenen's company did. Really cool game. I've only got to play the first tutorial scenario, but it's a pretty cool game.
Well, if we play games on Tuesday, you're responsible for bringing something because I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I know how to play that one, so it'll be easy. It's an easy game to learn. But yeah, we've also been aside from tabletop stuff because there's not much new to report when it comes to like games we're designing because I still need to get back with Richard. He's been pretty busy with other stuff and with all these tariff things. Like all the publishers are kind of backlogged, so it's been a little less.
They're backlogged. I mean, they're just on hold.
So I mean, like they're just the wrong choice of words. But anyway, like. Still looking to do the Relic Myers game, and I still have I've been compiling art for the Malice of Light project we were doing, like a little card game. So
you got some 3D models and animations in that.
Yeah, you could blow a balloon up in them and make the art look 3D. But yeah, nothing really new to report with those projects. I've been just too focused on getting this Ransom, what is it called? Ransom Creek Remains book done.
Can I get paid extra just for remembering the name of it?
Yeah. It's, I always want to say Ruins because I think that's what the next book's going to be called if I do it, if we end up doing like a series on it. Anyway, but aside from tabletop stuff, we've been finally following my advice because I've been bugging Adam for like months now. Like, we should try the new version of Lords of the Fallen because they did a big update. It's like version 2, and this was back in like probably
Yes, but we were
March.
playing Night Rain at the time.
No, this was well before Night Rain came out. I was in the mood for, like, when we were waiting for Night Rain, I was like, let's play Lords of the Fallen. That'll get us in the mood for Night Rain. And it's ironic now because if Night Rain's out, it's fine. We've played it, but we're playing much more Lords of the Fallen now.
Honestly, like Night Rain, I never even want to play that game. Like, it's nothing wrong with it, but I don't, maybe it's because I don't like the characters. Like, I just haven't found something I like. But we've only beaten one of the bosses. There's only like 6 bosses in the game. And a buddy of mine, one of the guys who comes to game night, he beat all the bosses already. Like, within the first week, he just plowed through them because he has some friends he plays with. So luckily, they had some good coordination going. But he's like, yeah, once you beat the bosses, doesn't really feel like there's much reason to play. And I get that. I like roguelikes, but I don't know. Like,
I think my main problem with the game is I just don't want to learn the functionality of the map. Like, I get it. I get its locations, and
that map is not, like, anybody who's played Elden Ring probably knows it's not like the most user friendly, like, UI.
It's kind of abstracted. It's like more of a visual display. It's trying to be like thematic and not just be like, give me the technical information I need to get where I need to go.
You compare it to Raven's Watch, and Raven's Watch is just so easy to understand. Like, even though the game might take a little bit to learn, like, the map is easy to read. You can clearly see what events are where.
We haven't played that since the update either. Raven's Watch update.
Yeah, I don't really care though.
Yeah, but I mean, not to play the new characters, but just to play the game, because
that game is really fun. But yeah, we played so much of it that I'm happy to play something new. And Lords of the Fallen, the version 2 update, we decided to finally play that. I had to reinstall it because I tried it like a year ago. I don't know. It was on Game Pass, and I tried it out. And I was like, hey, Brady, there's a co-op Elden Ring style game. And so I tried a little bit of it. I don't think he played it. We didn't try multiplayer, but we each tried a little bit of it, and then we never really went back to it. I think something else came up.
Well, it's like, I was reading this article about it because somebody was talking about the sequel coming up, and they're saying how, like, there's this void that Dark Souls is, left behind, because Elden Ring's not really like Dark Souls. It's like not this. It's similar, but Dark Souls is very specific, and there's like this void that like Lords of the Fallen could fill. But like, it is, the article was about how complicated a game it is because of those two worlds, and it is kind of hard to understand. But I feel like because we've played it enough where we get it, it's like that makes it more addicting, I think, because it's that whole, like, you get over that threshold.
Honestly, I didn't like it at all when I first played. I didn't like that whole lantern thing. But then when we started playing recently, and I realized that it's basically just represents the underworld, like dying.
When you die, yeah.
Like, you get kicked into the umbral, and then you have to find your way back out again. And also the fact that the longer you're in the umbral, the more attention you draw to yourself, and that makes it more dangerous. Once I learned that, it got to be more interesting, and I was like, I appreciated it more. And obviously, the more you play a game, the more you get used to it. And we got pretty far into that game. We're pretty much been playing it like way too much.
Yeah,
it's starting to take up my Unreal time that I need to work on game stuff. But.
Yeah, I'd be done with this friggin' Ransom Creek novel if it wasn't for this game, because I keep wanting to play. I haven't even played it, so I was playing solo just to catch up, because the way they do it, if you're not familiar with Lords of the Fallen, it came out as a single player game that you could play co-op kind of casually, where like the host can progress their game with somebody joining them, but the player who joined isn't progressing their own game. So when they went back to their game, they had all their they'd have all their stuff that they earned, but they'd still be back in the same progress they were in the original game. So it's like they could grind a bit but go back into their, so like, to me it was never fun to go play single player. But because they had this,
we did try it. We did try multiplayer back, but when you learned that we weren't sharing progress, we're like, well, no.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, we kind of like lost interest in it. But it's funny now because your game, we were playing casual without knowing how to do the shared progress on, because it's a little more like complicated to get onto shared progress. So we progressed your game quite a bit. So I had to like work my character back up. So Adam joined my game, and we were playing me as the host. And he was just kind of grinding while he was helping me get up to where we were. And then we could finally, now we're playing shared progress. So the article I was reading was saying how if everything they've learned from doing this version 2 update, which everyone seems to love. It's been getting great reviews. If they put that into the sequel, it's like they could have a much better launch and maybe reduce that barrier of entry with the 2 world complication, because I'm starting to like it because we play it so much, but I will easily admit if you're a newcomer, it's going to be very hard to kind of get your head around how those 2 things
and actually if you are interested and you have Xbox, it's on Game Pass, so you can try it for free, or not for free, but you have access to it with Game Pass. And if you're wanting to play co-op, just to save you some time, so you have to look it up, it would have saved us some time if I knew this, but like, you want to go, both of you and whoever you're playing with, your buddy, go to your multiplayer options and settings. You go down to password, you both set the same password, and then the host will go to beckon player. When you're at a vestige, you'll go to the multiplayer option, you hit beckon player, and the other person goes down to join session, parentheses, shared progress,
which is under the multiplayer menu.
And if your passwords match, and you have to kind of have the same game state, so make sure it's like you have killed the same number of bosses or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's based on those remembrances, because those remembrances kind of unlock things.
Once you get to that point, you can connect, and then you can go share progress. It's confusing because you can also beckon friend, which you go to your friends list for Xbox, and you can like invite somebody. But if you do it that way, it's just the casual co-op. So you have to go to beckon player, and the other person has to go to join session, parentheses, shared progress, and then you will be in a shared session.
Yeah, I think the reason they had to do that is because they didn't want to undo everything they had built for multiplayer for their casual co-op. So they had to kind of create a new mode, essentially, which is why it's like complicated that way. But like if they do it, from the ground up in the sequel, it'll be a much, much better game. So
yes, I can learn from my very limited experience working in Unreal Engine that would be a nightmare to rebuild the whole game.
It's funny too, because I remember Undead Labs, because they get so many requests about State of Decay 2, how the multiplayer wasn't shared, and they would always say stuff like, we'd have to completely rebuild our multiplayer. And it's funny because like now it's like, well, yeah, this company did too, but they still did it. Like, it's not ideal, but it still works.
Yeah, I mean, just build a separate multiplayer.
Yeah. That's what I always thought. It's like you just build a new like game mode, essentially. It's like you don't have to like change how you do multiplayer. Just build it, because they built that Daybreak game mode. Just do that. But yeah, that's a whole other story. But State of Decay 3 they need to show something. Come on. But yeah, that's video game stuff. Not much else. I mean, you've been playing Resident Evil 2, but
yeah, our power went out back on Thursday, and it was my day off work. So it was
internet, not power.
Internet. It was Juneteenth, so I had off work, and at like 1 p.m. or something, the internet goes out. I was like, oh, that sucks. Hopefully it comes back on, because it's a flicker out. And I got a text saying that it would be out until 10 p.m. I'm like, what? What are we gonna do without internet until 10 p.m.? It turns out that thing was out until 9 a.m. the next day. So I was like, my whole day off, and then up to the next morning, no internet. Living in the dark ages. Yeah, I had data and stuff, but I couldn't like watch shows on my TV or whatever, play games on the internet. Like, it just sucked. Anyway, I decided to bust out a disc-based game, so I put in Resident Evil 2, the remake on Xbox, and reminded myself how good that game was. And then I got sucked in when the internet came back on, and I've been playing that.
Did you say when the internet came on, did you have a bunch of updates to do for the game? Or?
I had one update because I had to reinstall the game. It wasn't on my Xbox at the time, so I put the disc in. It would install it, but there was an update they didn't know about because there's no internet.
Yeah. Well, at least they let you still play it, because a lot of games will block you out.
I could play it, but I had no access to my save, so I couldn't use all my fun infinite ammo weapons and stuff. So yeah,
but you got to admit, it's still fun to start from scratch.
It is, but it's scary.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not seasoned.
If you haven't played it in a while, it's like it's a little nerve wracking. Yeah. Where it's like, dude, I've yet to play that game. The way the zombies work in that game, where you shoot them in the head and they just stumble back. It's like, dude, I shot you right in the head.
But to me, it's even when I started playing it, it was more obnoxious than like scary, like, or nervous. It was more because I think I watched so many of playthroughs.
It's not scary, but it's nerve wracking. Where it's like, oh, I have to figure out my 6 inventory slots, what can I take up with healing items, 8 inventory slots.
See, that should be something in RecWares as well, is like having that kind of inventory, because like I like that kind of inventory management stuff. It's
not a roguelike, man.
Sort of. It could sort of. I mean, like
I don't want to code that.
Yeah, it's like more just like for which upgrades is most important to take, that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's our video game life. Speaking of Resident Evil, though, because you're talking about Resident Evil 2, they finally announced Resident Evil Requiem.
Boring.
Here's the cool thing I want to call out, because I remember I'm too much on social media because I try to market it myself.
Yes.
I hate it. But I make statements like, oh, I hate first person shooter games. Stop making so many of them. And I get all these people like, oh, I love them. And I'm dumb for not liking first person.
This is why you're wrong.
I just don't like being in the person I'm playing as. I want to see who I'm playing as. And I prefer third person. Resident Evil, when Requiem got announced, there was all this chatter about being first person. I'm like, no. Oh, I was like so bummed out. But then it was revealed that it's going to be both. It's going to fully support first or third person, just like they did for Village when they added like the update in Village where they made it third person, which I haven't tried yet, but all the videos I watched look pretty solid. So people have said it's like it works really well third person. And I'm really hoping, like, since Resident Evil did that and like they kind of like, you know, compromised so they can appeal to both crowds, that more games are going to do that, because I freaking hate first person. And I know everybody seems to make first person games.
Now I can say this with authority now that I've had experience with this. When I used to think that, like, for example, Dark Tide, they have first person. They have all the animations.
Third person, yeah.
They have all the animations, but you can't play third person. But like, I was like, oh, maybe it's just too hard to implement. I know for a fact it's not. Like, you put a spring arm, put a camera on a character, all the animations are already there. You're just changing the view.
That's what I thought, because we had a conversation one time about it where it's like somebody was saying, oh, you gotta like rebuild the whole physics and stuff. And it's like, I mean, I don't do a lot in Unreal, but I was programming a camera, and it's like, because almost every time with a first person game, they're making the models anyway in case you see your reflection in the mirror or something, you know, you'll see like
it might feel different. Like, it might not be what optimal, like, you know, physics or whatever for combat, but it's an option. Yeah. Like, just make it an option.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, if they ever made Dark Tide third person, I would want to go back to that game immediately, because that game was fun. I just don't like first person at all.
Yep. They sell those cosmetics. It's like, why would I buy these cosmetics if I can't even see them?
That's the big kicker too, is like that unlocks even more reason to spend money on cosmetics if you can see your character, you know. And they'd let you do that in the lobbies and stuff, so you can see what you look like. But why not do that the whole time?
Yeah. I would be playing Dark Tide right now if I could play third person.
Yeah, you hear that? Was it Fat Shark? That's the developer?
Fat Shark.
I know Sean from Fat Shark is listening because he's a big fan of ours. So
Sean?
There's got to be at least
you mean
one
Pete.
person.
Pete?
Oh, Pete, sorry. There's got to be at least one person named
It's either Pete or Sean or John or Steven.
One of those Fat Shark guys. They're just huge fans of us. So, but the other things that we usually talk about are what we've been reading, and I have things to talk about because I've actually been reading. I know I read a lot, but honestly, when I was stuck on the couch. Are you trying to fart?
No, you said honestly.
Longestly. You said characterful, which, by the way, is actually a word. I just never heard. I never hear that used ever. I never.
He's very characterful.
He's a very characterful person.
He's full of character.
Yeah, I would say full of character. It's characterful just sounds awkward. Don't use that. Anyway,
does bequeath sound weird to you? Because that sounds weird to me.
It's bequeath. So, for what we've been reading, Adam,
nothing.
You go first.
All my free time has been sitting at a computer.
You've been reading drafts.
Yes,
drafts.
But I don't consider that reading for. That's reading for work.
That's
work.
It's a story.
Okay, fine. I've been reading Ransom Creek Remains and adding notes to the story about what things that I think.
It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Should be. I think this guy should do this.
I think it's pretty good. So here's a funny thing. I met this person, this author, Matt Dinneman. Some of you may know. I met him at a horror con back in September of 2024. Cool dude. He's super into power metal, so like we had a lot to chat about. I gave him a copy of my book, which I don't think he's read. If he has, he probably hated it. We'll see. Maybe he'll tell me someday. But I've always been kind of meaning to get around to reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, because I know it's a big deal. People seem to love this whole lit RPG thing. And I know at the time I had just heard about Seth MacFarlane making a deal to get the rights to make a Dungeon Crawler Carl live action series. So it's taken off. There's like 8 books or something in that series. And I just constantly see people reading it and talking about it. And I was at a book signing yesterday, and I just saw like 5 people go in and pick up copies. It's like the only books I see sold nowadays are Brandon Sanderson, Dungeon Crawler Carl, or one of those Fourth Wing books. Anyway, in my head, I was convinced that I did not like lit RPGs, because what I have experienced of them, I feel like as a game designer, and an author, I have this weird combination where I've always felt like if I were to read a lit RPG, I'd be kind of annoyed from both ends, like as a writer and as a gamer, because I felt like it would be placating me or something. I don't know why I had that preconceived notion. I think maybe I read some lit RPG I didn't like, or like I saw some bad examples. Anyway, I was convinced I wouldn't like Dungeon Crawler Carl. So like I put off starting it because I met Matt. He's a cool guy, and for some reason I thought like, man, I don't want to read a book by an author I like because maybe I won't like the book and I'll feel awkward or something. But I'm glad to be wrong this time. I'm listening to the audiobook, and it helps that the narrator's really good. He's really a funny guy. But the book is great. Can't wait to see the series. So the hype's real. People rave about this book, and it's good. I'm kind of bummed that it's good because I was ready to not like it. But congratulations, Matt. You won me over. So that one's one. I've also been reading, ironically enough, another lit RPG book because I met this guy Luke Chomesky. I'm gonna mess up his name. It's like CHMI Chmelsky. So sorry, Luke. I might have messed up your name. I should have looked up how to say it before I started this diatribe. But he was actually in my narrative design course when I was studying narrative design for video games. So he's in that. I didn't meet him in the course. He was in the Discord for the class. So he just signed a 6-book deal with Athon Books. They're a big lit RPG publisher, but he's doing like kind of a Dark Souls, Lords of the Fallen, Elden Ring style dark fantasy series. So I picked up his first book, which is a lit RPG called Ascend Online. Very cool book. I'm only like maybe a third of the way through it, but again, I'm proven wrong because I seem to really like lit RPG. It seems like maybe I just read some bad stuff earlier on, but and I also just finished that Whisperman book I think I talked about last episode. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's all I've been reading. I don't know how I found time to read. I've been writing mostly because I got my free write. I won't go on too much about this because you can go like on my TikTok or social media and watch me do videos about. I've been reviewing this device called the Free Write. I bought the Traveler, which is like a portable version of this digital type or the smart typewriter. But I have ordered the Hemming Write, which is the most expensive version. It won't get here till August, but it's a big $1,000 smart typewriter that all you can do is type on. You can't like do very good editing on it. It's got a very small screen display, and it's like
killer sales pitch.
It's not good for the thing. It's funny because I put off buying this thing for like 2 years, and I finally pulled the trigger because I got convinced by several different reviews. And when I bought the Traveler, the fold-up version, I've been churning out words like somebody who took a lot of X-Lax and has turned out poop. Is that a good analogy?
Anyway,
what have you been watching? Any TV stuff?
I've been rewatching some shows, but I went to go see a movie with my daughter last night. She's been at camp all last week. She got home for just Saturday, so I took her to a movie she wanted to go see real bad, which was 28 Years Later, because I let her watch 28 Weeks Later, and then she finally got around to watching 28 Days Later, the original, which I didn't think she would like because it's kind of like it's an indie movie. It's a little more low budget, but she liked it, and we went to go see the new movie. It got great reviews, I thought. I went to go see it, and I don't know why it got such good reviews because I did not think it was that great. It was fine. It was not what I expected it to be, and
was it like that Quiet Place side movie we saw that like felt like I forgot all about it?
I did not like that movie.
Yeah, I know. Like it wasn't bad, but it was like I just didn't care at all.
Yeah, and this one had some cool parts to it, but I didn't like I don't know. She liked it, which was good. She enjoyed it, but it was not a typical 28 movie. And then I started looking at that actual viewers reviews on IMDb after I watched it, and a lot of people were like with me, like this is not what I wanted, not what I expected. I don't know why this got such good reviews critically. I think it was well done as a movie, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're like really into that kind of movie, I guess. But it doesn't take very much for me to like a movie, and this one did not pull me in as much as I'd hoped it would. So wasn't tense enough for me. It wasn't scary. It wasn't didn't give me the feelings I got from the original 2 movies. So
we had a question. I'm guessing that we probably covered this listener question last episode because it came in April 2nd. We recorded April 26th. Our episode came out 22nd.
So we probably answered it.
Okay, because it was when will we get a Malice of Life?
Yeah, we answered that.
Okay,
yeah, we answered that one.
Thought so. So now I'm not gonna answer it again, guys. I'm not gonna waste your time. That's an episode though. That's our 17th episode.
Yeah. Do you want us to keep doing this? Or should we come back for a couple weeks or something? But
I think in the Discord under not listener questions maybe, but just general chat. Like maybe we'll have some surveys about content, because we kind of feel like we're at a point where we're just like saying what we've done, and it's like, yeah, here's what we've done lately.
If you like to listen to us talk about what games we played, so yeah, I like when I have like this, for example. I felt like we had stuff to talk about with this whole joint operations, Kill Team Typhon box, because it was bugging me and I wanted to talk about it. So it was a good topic to discuss. So,
well, we're gonna kind of change the format a bit. So next we're gonna do true crime podcasts, but with the true crime, it's not gonna be true. It's gonna be stuff we make up. So it's gonna be presented as if it was true.
Let's just write a book about that. We'll just write a book, and you guys can buy that. So.
Yeah, we could just narrate chapters really slowly. Each chapter is an hour long. Just really have discuss. It's like those DVD commentary things. It'll be like a novel commentary where we just talk about the chapter for an hour.
All right.
What I wanted this chapter to say was what I wrote here. So,
well, I'm gonna go maybe mow the lawn. So.
Don't do it.
All right.
Let's go play Lords of the Fallen.
We'll talk to you soon, guys.
See you next month, next year. Bye.
Later.